well. We can hear you very well. Clearly.
Okay. So Imada, it might be on your end. Might be on your end. Okay. Yeah. So the topic for today is we're going to talk about dating and relationships in modern society, and we're going to talk about traditional roles versus modern roles.
Hey,
So
Rick.
we'll have a chance. Hey, Jamie. Hey, give me 1 second. Hang on 1 minute.
Sure.
My phone just rang. I'm going to give me 1 second here. Wait.
Doing video again, huh?
Yeah, every Friday. Every Friday is Video Friday. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. Hey, Ricky.
Oops. Hello.
Hello.
Oh
You're
yeah.
here.
Oh, long time no see.
Yeah, like 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
What is up, man? Jamie.
Hey.
Hey, jungle is dying.
Hey. Hi, Kratika. Hi. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
What's up?
Not much.
Yeah,
Same
same
old,
here.
same old.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, Johnny. Johnny, are you the admin? See that guy, admin account. Are you that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using that.
Is that Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the boss.
Yeah, he's the boss. Yeah, so you are busy.
Yeah, sometimes.
Even now, you have got that don't disturb me mark or something like that.
Yeah. So they wouldn't make any sound or some kind of notification.
Hi, Jamila.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
As
no one
Jamila.
is doing video?
Because we are not smart like you, Jamila.
It's not about
There.
being smart. Oh, Jamie, I can see you.
Finally.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Jamila. Hello.
Oh, I can't see you anymore.
Whoops. Shoot.
No.
I choose to say that. Hold on.
Oh, better. I can see you now. And hello, everyone. Whoever's here.
Hello.
Hi.
We have who do we have here? Let me go through the names that we have here.
Oh, better. I can see you now.
Okay, we have Christina.
And hello,
we have
everyone.
Moyu. We have Zora.
Whoever's here.
Hello. We have
Hello.
Imad. We have Johnny. We have
At work.
Vandy. We have Jamie. We have Ik. And Hiroki. We have a Hiroki.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. Okay. So again, welcome everybody. So let me try to add Khalid. It looks like he's trying to join. I don't know why he can't join. So let me see if there's a way I can manually try to add him. Okay. For some reason, obviously, some people have a hard time joining.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, my camera's not working for some reason.
Okay. All right. So let me try to add.
Oh, wait, no, there. It says it's on, but I don't see myself. Hello.
Okay. So give me just a moment, folks, people. We're trying to get this going. Okay. So I try to add Khalid. I don't know if he's able to or not, but let's go ahead and begin. All right. So again, the topic today, I'm going to repeat it one more time so that we're all clear what the topic is.
Okay.
Jamie, you okay?
Yeah, my camera won't work though. I'm trying to get.
Okay. So let me go ahead and
There.
okay. All right. Okay. So the topic again for the third time, all right, is dating and relationships in modern society. Okay. We're going to talk more about how we view roles and responsibilities for men and women in society. So about open society and the way people look at relationships in today's society, maybe compared to traditional. And we're also going to look at this from a cultural standpoint. Some of us live in more conservative countries. Some people don't. So we're going to talk about that and share ideas. The one thing I would just ask everybody is please respect everybody else's opinion. We all have an opinion, so please respect other people's opinion. You may not agree with it, but respect it. And again, everybody, please keep their microphones muted when other people are speaking in order for us to be able to hear everybody. I think we are streaming this, and it will be available on YouTube. So we want to create a quality type session. Okay, so that's really important for us. So let's go ahead and begin. I don't know exactly who came first, but I'm going to start with you, Christina. Okay. And then after Christina, we'll go to Moyu after Christina. Go ahead, Christina.
No, nothing.
What?
She's shy. She's shy. Christina, come on.
Well, I tell you what. Let's get started with Moyu, because Moyu's been waiting since 9 o'clock my time. He's been waiting for an hour and 17 minutes. So what we'll do, Christina, we'll come back to you later on after we speak some more. So we'll go to Moyu. So Moyu, please share all your wonderful knowledge with us.
Keep it short.
Thank you so much. But the problem I have is that, the first, I didn't get the first party because I don't know, I was having that feedback. So could you please give me 1 minute so that you can tell me the topic? I try to open the link, and also I'm getting the problem whenever I open it. So yeah.
Yeah. So let me repeat it. Let me repeat it one more time. Okay. So the topic today, oh, by the way, today is April the 6th. Oh my gosh. April the 6th already. Okay. 2018. It is Friday. The topic for today is about dating and relationships in modern society. And we're going to talk specifically about the roles people have in relationships, whether from a traditional standpoint, maybe today's, standpoint. We could talk about from a cultural standpoint. So think about the things, Moyu, for example, when you participated in the reading session on Wednesday, think about the things that we talked about. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think the role. Let me first start with the role that maybe men and women have. Based on in my culture, when it comes to the dating, I think in my culture is the man who should initiate, usually most of the time the man who is initiate, and for example, and both of them are responsible for maintaining that relationship, that dating for a longer time. But in my culture, for example, if you take a lady or a woman for a restaurant, you have to provide. You have to, for example, pay for the bill. You have to pay for the cost of transportation costs or something like that. So most of the time we have that as a culture in terms of dating. And when you wanted to set up a family, when you wanted to get a permanent relationship, for you, you have to go a woman's family, especially her parents. I mean, the father, and ask for his girl, and for that you have to pay something. So even you are the responsible for the cost of getting married, whatever it is. And in a relationship, For us, yesterday you taught me that word, but I forgot that we are patriotic. Is it where the
patriarchal. Yeah,
yeah,
patriarchal.
patriotic. We are patriotical society where man most of the time is the head of the family, is the head of. But both of you, they kind of people are your wife, kind of looking. She just expecting you to provide. She expecting you to be able to protect her, to protect the children, to be able to pay the bill for the bill, whatever the bill you have, whether it's school, rent, and everything, you have to provide. But if you wanted to maintain that kind of relationship for us, and I don't know if you have in your country, but also you have to give her a valuable thing at the occasions, like whenever she has a child or a kid, maybe the anniversary of your marriage, you have to try and bring something valuable like gold or something like that. Or maybe if you have the money, you can go out of the country and shop for items she likes very much. From that, many people believe that your wife would appreciate. She would think that the guy is taking care of you very well. He's interested in you. That's why. So that, and also, and sometimes communicating is very important. They believe, and yeah, that's practical. They believe you have to say maybe I love you. You have to, whatever you feel, you have to tell her in a very diplomatic way, in a very civic way. You shouldn't shout at her. Some people do, but they believe that may destroy your relationship, that may damage, that may harm the healthy relationship. But also in rural areas, we don't have that culture. Most of the time, men, they believe he needs to be very strong, very masculine, so that the women will respect him instead of communicating. For them, they don't. It doesn't matter that providing these things and communicating. They believe if you are a man, you should be masculine. You should be very strong, being able to provide, and also women should be very feminine. She should have that kind of outlook beauty where she has to put all those kind in her face. She has to wear that beautiful clothes. So in that, and also you have to, that's the rural areas. But in the urban, they kind of look in that kind of stuff where you should be able to make her happy and satisfied in every aspect you can. Communication is very, very important in urban areas. And also nowadays they believe that, I don't know, but that's not based on research and practicality. But people believe, if they say nowadays, if both members of the family are well educated, they can maintain that healthy relationship. Because in my culture, kids are very important. The children, they believe the last point of having a family is to have a kid. So they believe if you don't have a kid, the probability you can maintain a healthy relationship for a long time is very, very minimal. So you should have a kid. The number of kids, even you need, even the number matters. They believe if you have a lot of children, you may fail, because a lot of children, they may give you a lot of trouble. But also they believe a small number is not enough. You need to have the number between 3 and 6. For us, for me in my culture, 3 and 6, they're just, it's an average children. They are not very many, so that, and they are not very small. So also they believe the number of children is very important. Also they believe if you wanted to have a very long and healthy relationship, the kind of education you need to give your children is very basic, very, very fundamental. They believe if you don't take your children to school, that may affect your children, your relationship. So they believe you have to discipline them, you have to take them, you have to give them a very good education based on my standard and my culture. Because they believe if you don't take to school, they may cause trouble and difficulties between the couples. So yeah, we have a lot of things. Also, one thing in my culture, they believe if you want to sustain a very good, healthy relationship, you need to take care of the relationship between you and the spouse's family, the family of if I'm for example, I am married, so I have to also try to communicate with my I don't know how to say, the parent of my wife very good, and also I have to pay them visit, so that I also try to show my wife that I'm caring. Also, I'm caring her family. Also, for her, she has to do the same thing for me. She has tried to communicate nicely with my mother and father, and also the brothers and sisters. They believe those kind of stuff also sustain a family. And even, do you know, for example, if you have a problem with your spouse, if you have already a good relationship with the family will come and intervene and try to mediate. But if you don't have that kind of stuff, then for us, we don't have that very good legal system where if you have a problem, you can go and ask for counseling. Only counseling can come from the family. So there are a lot to say from in that side, but thank you so much.
So I think Moyu, one day we need to have a dedicated 1 hour just with you to learn more about Somali culture, because you definitely have a lot to say. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I do have a well, first of all, does anybody else have a question? Anybody have any questions for Moyu?
He said a lot.
I have a hi to say.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay. So, well, you're not going to get off that easy, Moyu. That's not the only comment you're going to hear. So I have one question, and I'm looking for a short and concise answer. Okay. So you said in Somali culture, still primarily a patriarchal culture. The man is the one that's normally the breadwinner, goes off and works, or it's a male-dominated society. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but that's the way I said it. Do you know anybody, or, I mean, have you met somebody before, for example, where the woman goes off and works and the man stays home and takes care of the children?
Absolutely. There are countless people I know who does like that. You know, in my, I already told you, we had a civil war for a long time. So during the civil war, those formal jobs disappeared. We don't have the government. We have now, but we didn't have. So in that role, both of the parents tried to get a job, and especially in the business aspect, women in my country did very good job. They set up. No, they are dominant in the market, maybe 60-something%. And I think one of the richest women in Africa, is she from Somalia or the second, something like that. So in terms of the business, they are doing that. And when they take up that position, you have to. It's not option. In my culture, if you she's providing, she's I mean a breadwinner. So if you can't do that, then you have to look after the children. And if you don't do that, what she does, the woman, she go to your father, to your family, and tell you about that, and they will come to you and say, you man, you failed that the man's role, so you have to look after. That's must. If you can't provide, you have to. That's must. That's not even an option.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, thank you. Okay, good.
Rick, I have a question for him.
Sure, you might. Go ahead.
Okay, the question is that what makes the difference between the dating in the city and dating in the rural area or in the village? Because he said that there is difference.
Yeah, I think the technology and everything makes the difference now. Dating in the city, usually first they started dating on social media. That's where they start nowadays. But in the rural areas, everything is different. And the culture is so strict. Even if you need to date a woman, you can't, unless you are married in rural areas, you can't take her out. You need to have a dating, and I don't know, just on the premises, in the, I mean, the place near to her house. Even you can't take her out just like a restaurant. That's forbidden in rural areas. And also everything, even the words nowadays, what they can say, they're communicating in the city. Communication is very important. Because if you now go and have a look at the social media, especially relating to these young people, you see usually they write love poems or something like that, or very nice words, and try to send it to the women. Or women also do something like that and try to send so that they can win over the other guy. But in rural areas, you can't do that. It should be very formal, and even the period is different. In the city, you can have a dating for a longer time, maybe 6 years, 10 years. But in rural areas, it should be maybe 1 year or less than that. After that, they say you are not. In my culture, when you are dating, the last objective it should be marriage. But if you, I don't want to go there because it's very long. So thank you so much, man. I'm waiting. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering Imad's question, Moyu. Did he answer your question, Imad?
Oh yes, because we have similar culture. Probably
Right.
almost not the same.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the question and good answer. And again, good presentation,
Welcome.
Moyu. One day, I think we need to have a dedicated session to talk more about this. I think it's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's go now to Kratika. So Kratika, are you here? Kratika? Okay, oh my gosh. Imad, did you want to tell us what you think?
Okay, but I'm afraid my responsible will come soon. She just went
Okay.
out from her office. I'm afraid, but I will wait until I can talk at the end if she goes early. Okay.
You're so funny. Okay. Yes,
Okay. Thank you, Rick.
We never want to get you in trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
Or if we get you in trouble, we want to know about it at least. Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. So let's Johnny.
For the moment, just listening.
Okay. Jamila.
Yeah, I thought many people were here before me.
Well, I wrote down names, but I got the names really mixed up. So go ahead.
Oh. Okay, so let me go back to the topic. So dating and relationships in modern society. Well, I think talking about traditional roles of men and women, I assume in a relationship, right? I think people used to be in a relationship for just for security, and because they had to, and eventually you had to get married and find a partner to start a family. I mean, if we think maybe 50 years ago, let's say 50 or 60 years ago, and then from that, people kind of evolved, and they no more wanted only security, but they also wanted emotional connection. They wanted to find someone they love, and also someone that would love them back. So people were seeking, they were striving to find someone where they can blossom and where they can share the same feelings. But I think, he left. Interesting. Well, I would continue anyways. So I think people a few years ago, let's say 20, 30, they were looking for a relationship where they can find someone that they would love and where they can be loved back. But I think in our modern society, a lot of things have changed, and maybe because of maybe our standards, what we expect from a relationship how we look at relationships in general, how we look at the dynamic between men and women. So, for example, now I cannot obviously not generalize because societies are different, contexts are different. You still have very conservative societies, but you also have very open societies with very modern values. So, but I do think that now, and I find something on the internet, and the concept, they call it self-actualization. So people now, what they mean by that is that people, and I guess this is, I can say that both for men and women, they want a relationship where they can feel that they are encouraged, they are empowered, but also in a relationship where they feel like they learned something. They become a better version of themselves. So I think expectations become bigger because from security, they went to love, and from love, they went to, please help me become someone else, a better version of myself. So I think expectations changed a lot. And with that, I think much more pressure came, because now there is so much pressure on both men and women to find the right person. Even if even in conservative societies, divorce is not a taboo anymore. I mean, even in my culture, you have many women, men, they just want to divorce because they don't feel like they are in a healthy relationship. They don't feel like they are in a relationship where they can improve themselves, where they can become a better version of themselves, where they can feel like they can accomplish things. So with modern society, I think that the concept and the notion of accomplishment, you need to be accomplished at so many levels, right? Emotionally, professionally, anything. So I think maybe this is the challenge. And I think this is why people are so anxious, I think. I mean, myself included. I mean, to choose just someone to be in a relationship with, it's so much pressure, because I usually compare this to the job of a human resources manager. You have so many candidates, you have so many options. They all are different. They all have different personalities, maybe. They all have different characteristics, but they are all applying for the same position, right? So ultimately, you need to sort out the candidates. You need to look for what's important to you and just find the right match and the right fit to this relationship and to this position. So I think doing this kind of job is just too hard, I think. And I think something else that has changed the dynamic is that before, people used to get married very early. What it means is that I have noticed this even with myself. When I was younger, I did not have so many expectations. I was comfortable with not super guys, just a normal guy, because I was thinking, okay, I just want him to be nice, to be fun, and that's it. But when you grow older, you have more things you want in a relationship, because you want the person to be professionally accomplished, you want the person to be nice to you, you want the person to be fun, you want the person to be independent but not too independent. So and also what I said, the concept of self-actualization, because if I am in a relationship and I don't feel like the person is encouraging me, is helping me in a way, it's like a teamwork. We look at relationship as a business deal. We are into this together, so we need to build together. We need to build something and accomplish something together. So to me, I think ultimately this is just too much pressure, I think, from my perspective. And this is why so many people are single. Maybe technology also has its importance, because now people just don't meet the traditional way. I've noticed the difference, for example, between Algeria and France. For example, in Algeria, I could walk in the streets, and so many guys would say hi. They would just dare come to you and say, because they are naive, they would just come to you and say, hello, my name, give me your phone number. That's very easy for them. But here in France, I think people are so consumed by technology, by their professional goals, but just by life, that they just don't pay attention to the people they meet in the street. They are just, for example, if you go to the subway, to the train, everybody is on, they are all on their phones. No one is looking at the people they have in front of them. So I think in that context, it's very challenging to find someone to interact, to kind of have this first, this opening interaction that could lead to a potential relationship. So, yeah. So to me, from my perspective, I think definitely, even if in what we call the third world now, even if people are not so modern, I think they are still so naive, and in a very good way, because they are still open to meet people, to give a chance to a relationship. They are not too, they don't have so many expectations, as opposed to people that do live in modern societies. They just have too many expectations, and that can lead to a lot of pressure. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm long. I'm saying a lot. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. So going back to women, and I think going back to the reading session we had, obviously there are, we have, society tells us what we should do. There are expectations, right? So for example, when it comes to initiative, like we see in the topic, well, women now, they are more ambitious, they are more confident, because obviously they get an education and they are supported by their society to express themselves, to do things. So I know a lot of women, they are in a position and they are not afraid to ask a guy for a date, or explicitly express not a desire, but that the guy, okay, you are my type. Right? They openly express that. So for a lot of guys, they would not feel secure with this kind of women, because they would think, okay, she's too independent, she's too knowledgeable, she does not need me, obviously, she's doing the whole work for me, so why should I date this kind of woman? Because I think men, whether they are conservative or not, they still need to be the man. They still want to play a role in a relationship, how it starts and how it ends. So, and maybe women are now more threatening to a lot of guys. I know, for example, talking about myself, one of my exes just got engaged a few months ago, and we're friends, and a friend in common just asked him, okay, what went wrong with me, with Jamila? And he was saying she's too independent. I couldn't have my space with her. She's too independent. So I guess guys are different again, but I think the majority, they are pretty conservative in that case. They just want to be the man, and when a woman is too independent, it's just not okay for them. Okay. That's it. I'm done.
Okay, I'm gonna call you Moyu too. Okay, we have Moyu 1, Moyu 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I think I have a question, but I'll let somebody else ask the question. So somebody have a question. I think Imad has a question.
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, of course. Go ahead, Imad.
Okay. My question for Jamini is that what is the effective way to have someone to date with? Is it the first one that you said in Algeria, for example, you are walking on the street and someone is following you, asking you for a number, or with the modern way, or using the applications in the social media? Which way you see that it's effective?
Well, from my personal experience and perspective, I would never date a guy that I would meet on a dating app, It's just not my thing, because obviously you know that the person is there to find someone, right? So it's like, okay, it's like checking, a checking list. Okay, she looks beautiful, check. She looks smart, check. So I just don't like this. It doesn't seem natural to me. I like the old way.
Yeah. Also, I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Jamila, I wonder how do you think about this question? How do you think about the expectation on marriage or of marriage would affect the relationship? What I mean is that when we are dating, when we are getting married, people have different expectation on marriage. Many think that marriage is a honeymoon for a whole long time. So how do you think expectation would affect the relationship?
Well, I think expectations in general, they have an impact on any relationship, whether friendship, whether love relationship, whether business relationship. I think it's very important to know what you want and also what you will get if you go into a relationship with someone, right? I mean, it's not reasonable to me. A lot of people expect, okay, for example, if I have a crush on a guy, I like him so much, and then I would choose to date him. But let's say, intellectually or emotionally, we don't necessarily have any specific connection. But I still hope, because I like him, I could change him. I could have, and this is, I think, a very, it's just a very dangerous expectation. It's not good.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Actually, I've got to go make a phone call to my tax guy. But I had one more quick question, if you don't mind. Okay.
Okay.
So if you think about Algeria and France, and you kind of already talked about it a little bit, kind of directly. But what is the most, other than you said in Algeria, people will, walk in the street and say hi to you, but in France, it's not so common. What else, what is the most significant difference in terms of relationships between the two countries? Or is there just one? Maybe there isn't one.
Well, there are a lot of differences, obviously, but I think that people here, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but from my previous, my experience, I think people here are so not picky, but they just want too much while they cannot offer that much. So, for example, okay, they want you to be very educated. Even for, a woman, they expect a woman to have money. While, for example, in my country, maybe, of course, people want to marry their daughters to families that are respected and financially comfortable, but they don't necessarily openly express that. But here, they would really express that in a very open way. Like, okay, I want my wife to work. I want her to have an income. So, yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Jamila.
He left again, so...
Yeah, I think he had a call.
Yeah, it is a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Let's hear, does anybody else have any other question for Jamila? Anybody have any more questions? If not, we will move to Hiroki. Hiroki, are you there? Hiroki?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry,
Alright.
my computer was
Off
was
you
a bit
go.
busy. Oh, sorry.
What would you like to tell us about this topic, Hiroki?
Okay. About dating and relationship in modern society. It changed. Past, may not very ancient time, form of marriage different from this modern one. And then kind of, how can we say, after 100 years ago, the modern kind of modern society came. And then after the World War II, Japanese society changed a lot. So these 3 periods, I think this changed a lot. And in ancient time, maybe not so concrete a system of marriage. But 100 years ago, maybe as a law, concrete, system of the marriage was established. And then at that time, ancient time, arranged marriage was not so popular, so common. Probably, I don't know the exact thing, but after the law established, arranged marriage was very common. But after World War II, maybe 1960 is a kind of the key point of changing. Many people want to live differently from their parents' generation, kind of baby boomers. And then maybe gradually kind of romantic-based relationship is getting more common. And then now arranged marriage has almost dead, and nowadays nobody are doing so. But based on the maybe many couples were connected based on dating, or kind of, as Jamila said, the need, maybe people began to need emotional relationship to not only the systematic marriage system, but also so sometimes it makes a situation more complicated. But maybe we can return to the topic. But new type of arranged marriage, or not arranged marriage, but kind of essence based, or some people go internet to searching for their partners, and maybe that kind of thing is also happening. So that's my opinion about this topic today.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny, for getting him going.
Sure.
So I have a question, and I heard part of what Jamila said, but I have a question for you, Hiroki. Okay. So when we think about, I was recently doing some research on this topic, and when we look at certain cultures, it's interesting that in the Middle East and the Far East, historically things were different, right? And then we come to modern society and things have changed quite a bit, right? So, for example, in many Arab countries, actually, and in India too, I think Kratik is still here. In India, it used to be that relationships were actually very, very open. And it was Western society that was very, conservative, okay? If you ever look at the history, it's very funny that way. Now things have changed quite a bit. Now it's gone the other direction, okay? So, but from a Japanese perspective, and I told you about that documentary I watched, it seems like people in Japan have a hard time now engaging with relationships. Is that true?
Maybe because in the because they have to do that by themselves, so it's so maybe or some people don't want to actually, because it's very, very kind of energy consuming. So some people prefer searching for their individual goal or something. Also, I forgot about saying something about that. Kind of average age. Marriage age is leads to 30, both men and women, and then also many people, or some people still single, also divorced, maybe 30%, more than 30% now. Couple divorce after they got married. So maybe in the past, maybe kind of it is said marriage is said as a kind of it like getting job, kind of forever job. But maybe situations are changing because so people became more freer than ever. But also, if maybe people kind of searching for their own goal, not the concrete goal which the society requires. So, but I think basically, I think it's a good thing because the just obey the rule. It could be easy, but I don't want I don't want to be like that because I want to searching for my own life.
Okay. Yeah, it was just kind of interesting. And the only other thing I would say is in this documentary I was watching, now in the past, maybe the men would go to clubs, and of course you have the women there. Now women go to these clubs and they have the men there, and they have something, I forget what they call it, but basically women go there together in order to get attention from guys, and the guys that work there, they work there. And they come over, they talk to them, they have a conversation with them. So they were saying that now in Japan, that's becoming more and more where women, often because at home, they don't have the kind of relationship maybe with their husbands or boyfriends. So they go out together to these clubs, and these men that work at the clubs, their job is to come over and talk to them and stuff,
I know what you mean. Yeah, actually, it's kind of it's called host club.
Yeah,
but
yes.
In my impression, women go to the host club is not so many because it's very expensive. But also, men's type are pretty much specific type there. So, but some women maybe really like it or go there. Like yeah, it's happening here.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Hiroki. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. So, Rajano, would you like to go? Or are you still cooking for tomorrow?
Well, I have a question for Hiroki, if I am allowed.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hiroki, about the dynamic that you see there in your country about dating, and the roles that men play and the women play, what is it that bothers you about that? What is it that bothers you about dating a girl, for instance?
I think it's energy consuming because it's to pay attention or to searching for whether I can go on, we can go on, such kind of thing. So I become nervous, and such kind of thing is maybe I don't know. I become nervous. So such kind of thing is.
You mean worry about
that's
whether
one of the
it's
reasons
gonna
why.
work out?
Maybe, or such kind of thing. It could be my personal opinion, but maybe for that reason, some people want to enjoy their freedom, not only having their partner or something like that.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
It is happening.
Do you feel that only you worry about that, or do you see that sometimes your partner also worry about that, or is it something that only you do, or is it something that only men do there? How do you see that?
I don't think so. Maybe a partner feeling the same thing also. Kind of, yeah. So, so sometimes situations become more complicated, but to just act in a rule or role could be easier, but maybe we live in a different society now, so many people want to search for their own goal or their own wants or things like that.
I see. If you allow me a last question, when it comes to dating, and the roles that men and women play there, the girls and boys, Who do you think invests most of their time? Is it the woman or is it the man? You know, who is it a little bit more headlighted in that sense? Who works more to make the relationship work? Is it the woman? Is it the man?
I think both, and and nowadays sometimes gold dutch is common in dating. Maybe for the first date, maybe man
Going Dutch.
okay, but so sometimes some couple doing going Dutch, and maybe such kind of things become more common. So well, I heard one woman said because of she's doing that because if they broke, she don't feel so much a burden for broken up. So maybe also, yeah, women can earn more money, not fully economical equal, still kind of not equal man and woman, but some women earn more than women earn more than men, or maybe it's case by case probably. But yeah, so that's my impression.
Thank you, Hiroki.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Johnny, for the questions, and thank you, Hiroki, for answering. So I see Fandy is here. I missed Fandy. Fandy, are you available to talk? Fandy, did you want to tell us what you think about this topic? Maybe not. Maybe he cannot speak. Okay. So, Ima, let me know. I know that you said you're waiting for your boss to go away. So,
she didn't come yet. Okay, I will start.
Okay, go ahead.
Hope she will not come after 5 minutes.
Oh, you're so funny.
Okay. Okay, for me, I think dating and relationship in modern society, the traditional roles of men and women, or in another word, who should take the initiative of asking someone out on a date. Okay, first of all, let us whether it is possible here or not in our country. It is Morocco. So here in Morocco, it means in the past, it was not possible to have a date with someone, a partner, for example, especially outside with the public places, in front of people, in front of your relatives, your family, or your neighbors. It was impossible to do that. But in recent time, things have been changed, and nowadays you can see that people date each other, girls and boys. It means at school, the adults, the young people. So it becomes normal. By the time it's become more normal, because we are taking from the West, from the West, their culture, and they try to apply it here in Morocco. So nowadays we can see people in the garden or in the cafe dating each other. So concerning this may be some people, and most of them reservative. It means the people who keep on their culture, the past culture or the last culture, the previous culture, which is they always see with a negative side this dating. But the people itself, it means the young people who see that it's normal nowadays, because the old people all over the world, they do this dating, and it means they take it as a freedom to do this dating. They can go outside with people whom they love, and or with whom they have relationship. So this kind of dating, personally, I don't accept it if it is not polite. It means if they don't respect the public places, or because nowadays we find that a strange kind of dating, because people, they try to make some a strange movement, strange actions in the street or in the cafe in front of the people. This is what I don't like. But people to sit inside, it means beside each other and just talking, discussing, or maybe planning for example, if there is a marriage, a planning for the marriage or engagement or something, like it's okay. But to do some actions, unrespected actions in the public places, it's not totally respected. And we nowadays we see it in the street. Even in the street, they see some a strange actor. Concerning the initiative, here in it means it's the initiative always is taken by and the man and not the woman, the boy and not the girl. Okay, because it's might be the girl, if she wants to date you and wants to take the initiative, it may say it in different way, but it will not ask you directly to have a date outside, because it will be shy and it's shame for the girl to ask the boy to outside or to go to some places. But it can say, for example, in different way, why not, I feel bored at home, so I wish I can go outside and to have entertainment, I have to have great time. So it's indirect way, it's implicitly, you have to implicitly understand that she wants to date, she wants to have a date outside. Then you can go and ask her whether she can go outside with you or not. It means we always say that it's shy for a girl to ask the boy. It's always here in general, the boy always asks the girl whether to go outside for a dating or not. That's it. Concerning the roles of men and women at home, I think that at home it's different from outside. At home it means the initiative comes from the woman or the husband, the wife or the husband. It's similar. It's the same thing, because they are inside the home. No one can know about what they are doing outside. And but outside, in the general, the girls, the boys are always taking the initiative for asking for a date. And thank you.
Okay, so I'll let Jamila. You want to say something?
Me?
Well, I saw you getting ready, so it was obvious. It was obvious that you were going to say something, I think.
You know, I was just curious, because I think Imad is pretty conservative, right? Even he's very open here with us. But I think when it comes to relationships, he is conservative. So my question is, because we said that some women do take initiative, right? I mean, initiative doesn't mean like asking, do you want to go on a date with me? But if a woman does that, how would you react? And what would you think about the woman?
Okay, you ask me personally. Okay.
Yes. You.
For me, I will take it as normal, because we are always asking for the equality, gender equality, and since I support the gender equality, so it's normal whether she takes the initiative. I will be happy. I will be happy if she asks me for a date. It will be happy, but I think I will never receive that. Because I'm sure that no, it happens to me many times, but as I said, in different way. It means she is asking me not directly, indirectly, but it will be okay for me if she asks me to have a date. But no, I'm just waiting my future wife to ask me for a date.
Too late for you, Iman. Okay.
Oh yes, Jamila.
Well, I have a couple questions too. One is kind of personal, one's not. Okay.
Okay.
So you don't have to answer the personal question if you don't want to. Okay.
Okay.
But did you date before you met your fiance?
Many times.
Okay. So
Yes.
okay. So
Many
okay.
times.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, yeah.
I want to ask this topic. It's if before married people, girl boy meeting is good or not, culture. So this topic.
Yeah. We're talking. Yeah, that's part of what we're talking about. Isha.
Okay.
Okay.
So
wait. Hang on, Isha. Let me. I have a question still for. We'll get to you. I promise we'll give you a chance.
okay.
But let me go back to Imad for a second. So the other question I had for you, Imad, is that my understanding that Moroccan, Algerian, Tunisian cultures are very similar in many ways, you know.
Yes.
So you made a comment about how, for example, younger people, if they're in the streets, maybe they're kissing or they're holding hands. So for you, okay, you consider this to be disrespectful, right?
Right.
Is this
Yeah,
is this? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yes, because sometimes you are not alone. You are going with your father, for example, or your mother on the street. And since you are a religious country, you believe in Islam, and Islam prohibits this. So it's considered as unrespected way. Especially sometimes you are with your father. So I cannot accept to go with my father outside and see someone kissing another person. It's very shameful to feel like that. That's why I see it as an unrespected way.
Okay. So now I have two more quick questions. Okay. Okay. The first quick question is, what is your reaction when you see that? Do you just ignore it? If you're walking with your father or something, do you just ignore it, or do you say something, or how do you react to that?
No, I see nothing. Yeah, it's just to abandon that, to avoid that, and change, for example, the topic and discuss something else.
Okay.
Try to change the destination or change the path.
Okay, I get it. So then I'll go back to the other general question, which is that, again, the cultures are similar between Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. So we don't have anybody here from Tunisia, but we have both Jamila and Soso from Algeria. So is this also the same? In other words, I guess I'm trying to ask, is this something that society feels, or is this something Imad feels is disrespectful? How do most people in those three countries, because they're of similar culture, how do they look at this?
So I think they look it at the same way. Since in the social media, for example, where I see some pages, for example, on Facebook that belongs to Algerian and Tunisian people. So I think that the posts they put, it means they try to reflect what they have in their countries, and we have the same here in Morocco. So we all. Since the three countries, I think, and especially Algeria and Morocco, we consider dating outside is with those type or with those actions, I said before, is unrespected and not accepted in our societies. And maybe Jamil will support that. I think. Okay, what do you think, Jamila?
Well, I think I do agree, because maybe Muslims in general, but when you go into conservative society, we are so uncomfortable with public affection. I mean, even inside the family, we don't necessarily say "I love you." We don't necessarily hug so much. So doing that in public, this is just so uncomfortable. But I think this is, I've noticed also this here in France. I mean, even if it's a European country, they are pretty open with open values. When they see a couple showing too much affection in public, it's a no. It's a no-no. They don't like that. They are kind of conservative in that way too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think there are limits. I mean, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I forget the idea about the countryside and the village, since I used to live in the village for 20 years. So I think the village is totally different between the cities, because in the village they are very, very conservative. You will never say for example, a girl with a boy outside for themselves walking freely. They do it, but secretly, a very secret way. For example, they meet in a place where no one can see him, no one can notice their when they gather together. So especially in the countryside, it's very preservative. It means they don't allow these actions to be happen, even just in dating and meeting, without making any actions. we are talking about, but totally it does not take place in the countryside. It's only in the cities.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Very interesting. Very, very
Welcome.
interesting.
And thank you very much.
I think one day we need to have dedicated podcasts with individuals and talk a long time about this. We'll have the entire history, Imad. We'll make you the most famous person in Morocco, okay?
Just make it on the weekend, and I will be available. Okay.
Yes,
thank you very much. Take care, everyone. I have to leave.
Okay, thank you, Imad. Very,
thank
very
you, Rick.
interesting.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Rojano, are you ready? Rojano. Rojano, are you ready? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yes, I was trying to.
Okay. So share with us your idea, please.
Okay, about this topic. Well, for sure, things has changed in comparison to the past. Everything has changed, and people's relationships, human beings' relationship has changed a lot. And I believe communication, media, and new ways of communication had a lot of and great effect on today's and modern relationships between men and women, girls and boys. In the past, for example, when I think about when I was in high school, we just had phone at home. At that time we didn't have even cell phone, and we were living in a somehow conservative society and actually a religious family. My dad and mom were extremely religious, and we were not allowed to go out alone. We were not allowed to date or even to express love to anyone. So at that time, we had no choice for choosing the person that we want to marry. And in my family, all the marriages were with cousins, that it was what our families want. And most of the time, those marriages were not successful, but they were continue because of relative norms and relationships between different families in a, for example, in a big relative that we had. And but nowadays things has changed a lot. For example, my nieces, my nephews, they have a lot of opportunity to meet different guys. They go to university, they have cell phones, computer, and different ways to communicate. For example, I remember when I was in high school, I was in love with one of my cousins, and it was funny, we were in love in a relationship about 3 or 4 years with each other, but the only way to communicate, because he was living in another city, was maybe 2 or 3 times per year. When we went to their home, or he came to our home. So it was really hard and to know each other well, to understand each other, and actually that relationship was hidden. It was a secret. And well, it was so hard. It was very difficult. And at the end, we couldn't get married with each other because our families didn't agree. My mom didn't agree. But nowadays, things has changed, guys and girls go out in the street, in coffee shops, in university, in the parties. They meet different guys, they meet different girls, they can date them. And unfortunately, in most cases, they're dating different people at the same time, saying I love you to, for example, 5 girls or boys. So I believe
Oh, okay. She dropped. Okay. All right. So she dropped off. Maybe something came up. You guys still hear us, right? You hear me, right? Yes? No?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
Okay,
hear you.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, yeah. So she must have dropped off. I was gonna let me, while we're waiting for her to come back, let me ask just a general question to others that I know Rose is here, and I don't, because we have other people who have to go yet. But well, you know what? I'll wait. I was gonna ask you a question about this cousin thing, if that's common in many cultures, huh?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
No.
Muslim countries, yeah.
So a lot of Muslim country meant for people to marry cousins.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
And actually, if I may add very quickly, it's a family thing, but also a village thing. For example, in my community, I'm sure a lot of communities in North African countries, at least. For example, I was very pushed to marry my cousin, and for example, if I marry my cousin, and then my mother-in-law would be open to maybe. I don't know. It's like an exchange. For example, I take your daughter, you take mine, because they look at daughters as a burden. So, for example, if you marry my daughter to your son, then I will marry your daughter to my son. It's like exchange of burden, and this is also the case in, for example, villages and small communities. For example, I know a lot of families and actually neighbors. For example, one woman, she had, I think, four boys, and all the boys, they did not marry any girl in the village. They married girls outside of the village. And as a consequence, no one wanted to marry her daughters, because they thought, okay, she could have taken daughters from the village. Why her boys went outside? So it's kind of exchanging, yeah.
Oh, it's interesting.
And I think this is very common in a lot of villages in North Africa, at least.
Can I ask something about it, Jamila?
Yes, I guess.
Sorry. What is the most reason? Marriage with relatives like this. The most reason, is it economics or you want to marry with pure blood or something like that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I would definitely love to answer, but if we have people from North African countries that can relate, maybe they can answer this question too. Anyone?
Okay.
Well, we have Soso's here and Rose is here. So either Soso or Rose. You guys want to answer part of this question? Why?
Sorry. It's interesting for me.
Yeah. Well, what is the? I think your question is, what is the benefit people see in marrying? Hey, Rose. So,
hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was about to sleep. Sorry, I just joined you because I wanted to have a sound nap. Yeah.
So why do
to answer this question? I'd say most of the people in North Africa and mainly in the Middle East, their religion is Islam, and based on Islamic perception, they believe that it is said the marriage of cousins and the celebration will be held in heaven. So it's kind of sacred, let's say.
Okay. So you're saying that based upon the religion is why most people do it, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I don't live there, but I think something I have heard, and either you or Jamila or Soso can answer, but I think there's also a kind of and I use the word loosely, but tribalism. Okay. So when we think about, people in different parts of the world, they are clannish, right? So they tend to associate with people that are in the same, mindset, right? And so they marry within the family. I think there's also economic reasons too, right? So I think it's many different ones. Rose mentioned the religion, but I think there's also people look at it from a the clannish or the tribalism standpoint, right? Is that true?
Perhaps I would
Also,
say
we
to
have
add some.
Go ahead, one at a time. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we'll go to Mo.
Okay, I'd like to add some more other reasons, perhaps that's for more unity, because before they used to live in tribes, and when they get married in their family with their family members and their cousins, the tribe would be more stronger. So maybe for that reason also.
Okay.
They could trust each other because they were living in one family, so
Right.
they could trust each other more.
Right.
That's also another reason.
Okay. Moyu, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah. Also, we have that kind of stuff here in Somalia, that the cousin marriage. But I think I'm not sure if the religion, Islamic religion, encourages the marriage as a whole. But I'm not sure if that's about only that kind of stuff. But in my culture, it is not desirable. The only time that marriage is desirable is when one of the partners is rich. For example, if I'm rich or if I'm president, if that my cousin, my family wants me to marry my cousin so that I can pass on that wealth on the other family. So if you are rich, people want you. Or maybe if your uncle is rich, people want is that your uncle has to marry his girl to you so that you can have that so that you can share with that wealth. So I think in my culture it is mostly of it has to do with the economy or income, something like that.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's about relationships. So why don't we go ahead? So thank you. Actually, that was a really good question about us. And but the person that brought it up is back now. So Rajano, do you want to finish what you were saying? You started a whole long discussion about marrying cousins. Okay, then you left.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. Where was I?
You were talking about cousins, about in high school and.
Yeah, I was just brought up that story to tell you how was my relationship in the past in my country, in the city that I was living. As I said at that time, the only way to connect was by maybe sending letters or making phone calls. Maybe just once per month. It was too long. And but nowadays things are easier. The norms, there were some norms in the past. For example, girls were shy to ask a boy to date with them. And in the past, for example, when a girl were proposed for a relationship or a date, in the beginning, they were maybe shy or conservative to accept it, and the boy had to try a lot to gain that girl's um, trust to date them with them, to accept them. But now this changed. Things has changed. For example, when I go on the street, I see boys just pass by girls and give them their phone numbers and start talking with them, walking with them, and date them very easily. And people are more open-minded. I remember when at that time, one of my friends had a boyfriend, and when her father realized it, he did something very, very terrible with her daughter. He cut all her hair off. He was like soldier. no hair on her, no hair on her head. And well, but now that it's not like that. People are more open. If I'm in love with someone, I can tell him easily. Okay. For example, yesterday I talked with my loved one, and we had a very good discussion with each other, and it was very easy for me to talk. In the past, if it was past, for example, 20 years ago, I wasn't able to. But things are easier. People are open-minded. Communication ways are much more than before. Girls and guys can choose their future partner without letting their parents, how to say it, making decision for them. So change has been a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, and like you said, we already had, when you were away, we had a long talk about cousins and if it's common in many cultures, and the answer was yes, it is. And particularly, it seems in the countries that are predominantly Muslim. I don't know, Padas, is that true also in Indonesia? That's not true in Indonesia, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Sorry.
Is it common in Indonesia for people to marry their cousins?
Cousin? I don't think so, but there is a part of, like in a specific area, like Aceh, or most of it in Sumatra Island. They still, there are people who are married with relative like cousin, but in Java Island, or Kalimantan Island, or Bali or something like that, it's not common. But there is a marriage with cousin, but best, not arranged marriage. They are in love to each other, and then they can marry. But arranged marriage with cousin, it's not common in Java Island, Kalimantan Island, but in Sumatra, like in Aceh, Darussalam, because it's they use Sharia, like Islamic law. So majority people, I think not majority, most of them are Muslim. Like there's something like that happen, but in Jakarta, It's not like that.
Well, let me, if you don't mind, let me ask you another question. How about in general in Indonesia? In general, how do people look at relationships? Is it kind of a lot of people? I mean, Indonesia is the largest Muslim country, has the largest population, but how open are people about relationships in Indonesia?
I think because we live in Asia, I think it's a little bit similar. We are not too open about it, but in Indonesia especially, we are not too open, but we are not too close, not too like strict about this. Especially young generation nowadays, when the information about how to make a relationship working, they can get the information easily. So that kind of thing, I think young generation more open about it, about how to make the relationship working or something like that.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Amadeus, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amadeus, did you have a question for Padas? Okay, so maybe the connection. Okay, so anybody have a question for Padas? Actually, I have one more question.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Rajana.
She said that cousin marriage is not normal in Indonesia. I want to know, is it because of religion or because of their maybe nationality or maybe your customs? Why?
I didn't say it's not normal, but it's not common.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's because of, because in Indonesia we have 5 formal religion. So we have Christian, we have Muslim as the majority of our population. We have Hindus, we have Buddhists, and so it's a mix. So for people in the east part of Indonesia, it's really not common because the people in the east of Indonesia influenced by, like Portuguese, something like that. So I think because of the culture, not because of religion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh my gosh, it's like the international book to dating around the world. Okay. Okay, Amadeus, did you have a question?
I don't have any question, but I have.
Okay. Well,
his connection, I think.
Yeah, connection is not enough.
Well, if you don't have a question, we have some other people that have been waiting for a long time. We're going to give them the chance. And then if you are still here, we would welcome your ideas about Turkey. So we lost Soso. We lost Babuti. Oh, my gosh. Ishal, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about Pakistan? Please tell us about you and Pakistan.
Okay, Pakistan. Talk about dating.
Yes.
Okay. Pakistan, Muslim country. Mashallah, but here love marriage is common and parents allow. But before the engagement or marriage, people go to outside and they do dates. So this is not good because yes, but some family, they before marriage they go to outside with also sister and sometimes sister or mother. So this is okay because some people this is girl or boy. So people think about negative, and they understand this is not good family. So here, and sometimes I am also so I am also do not like. So here, and so that's why here it's people don't like.
Okay. So I have a question for you, Ishal. Okay.
Okay.
So in your country, the majority, not everybody's Muslim, but the majority of people are Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Majority.
So how much? I think I know the answer, and maybe you just said the answer, but how much of the dating is influenced by the culture versus the religion? And I know sometimes we mix these things. Sometimes we look at these as the same thing, right? Sometimes we say, well, our culture is about the religion. But I think sometimes we have to also look at them separate. So how much of influence in your society you think is based upon the religion versus how much influence is based upon the culture?
Was a lot of people, they I saw, me and my friend, they saw a lot of people, they go to yes, they are go to outside, yes, and yes, because of they restriction about only family. It's common.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't understand words means. Maybe I don't understand your question. My answer, it's okay. You ask about, okay.
Yeah, no, it's good.
A lot
it's good.
of people, yes, only here people do not talk about religion. They talk about society, parents, family.
Okay. Thank you, Ishal. Thank you for sharing your idea with us. So let's go. So we have Amadeus. If you're here, we're going to give you a chance in just a moment. But we have one other person that's been waiting for a long time, and I want to give her the chance. And then Johnny and myself. So Catherine Chufang, are you here? Catherine.
Hello.
Hey, what are you up to, stranger?
A stranger?
Yes, I'm joking. So tell us about all the wisdom that you have gained over your life about this topic.
Well, I think in China, in my parents' generation, still their role. I think in my parents' generation, the women still are allowed to have to go to work and to have a job. But in their family, still men maybe have a better family status. Maybe one day some big decisions, still the man should make the final decision other than women. And also maybe in my grandparents' generation, maybe like my grandma, and she didn't have any job and just a housewife. So yeah, so the time changed, but in my generation, I think women tend to be more independent, and they have better, they received a better education opportunity, and and also sometimes a kind of Western life, and they know how important it is to be independent, like economically, financially independent. And also in a family, maybe they are more equal, and a man also should share the housework or something like that. And regarding to the initiative of asking someone out on date, I think still in my parents' generation, they still the man should take the initiative to ask. The woman ask such kind of question. They may, in other people's eye, maybe they think this woman may be a little bit too open, or but in my generation, I think it's more open, and I also, but I still think the most of the times the men take the initiative, but there are also some cases like the girls and so I really like the boy and I want to date with him, and he also ask. I also see some successful examples. They even get married. So the time change, and also
So obviously, you're kind of in. We talked about this before. You're kind of in a similar situation that Jamila's in, where she is from one country, but now she's been living in Europe for a while, and you've been in Europe not for a long time, but for a little while. Okay, what is the biggest difference you see from a dating or social perspective between China and the Netherlands? What's the biggest difference?
Biggest difference?
Yes.
Maybe their attitudes towards marriage. But our topic is about date. Maybe also some difference about date. But I think their attitude towards marriage, like their parents never push their children. Oh, it's you're around 30 and now it's time for you to find someone. They never push their children to do that. And and what else? And regarding to date, I think, I mean, and also I realized they start to date at a very young age. I have a American friend here in the Netherlands. She did her internship here, so I communicate a lot with her. And she said her first date, it's around 14 years old. So for me, it's kind of, oh my gosh, 14 years old. At that time, my teacher, my parents, you are not allowed to do that. Yeah. Yes. But she told me 14 years, I just show my surprise. And she said, why are you surprised? And she said, 14 is a kind of normal age. And even some girls earlier than me. So, she told me about that. And I also find the reason. I think because they don't have much homework. Unless China, we have a lot of homework. No time to do that.
Like here.
Wait, hang on. Do you have a question? Well, do you have a question for her?
No.
Okay, let me ask a question, because we're gonna give you a chance, Jamie, in just a second. Right after Catherine is done, we'll give you the chance to say what you think. But I do have a question regarding what you said, because my experience in China when I was there is that most people don't date until they are much older, because they are so focused on the schoolwork, and so that's a true statement, right?
Yes, that's true. For most people.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and so the biggest difference, I just want to paraphrase what you said, because I wrote down some notes. So the biggest difference is, for example, in the Netherlands, people are not pushed towards marriage. People date at a much earlier age. Okay, all right. Anybody else have a question specific to what Catherine said? Any questions? Oh my gosh, Catherine, you got off so easy. Oh, okay. Well, maybe not. Go ahead. Go ahead, Johnny.
bother me most? See other people dating. Maybe see other people dating. Yeah, maybe one day they are too close to each other. In public area, I feel uncomfortable. Yeah, maybe one day kiss or in some public area. I think I can accept a kiss, but just too much. I think I feel uncomfortable, and I will try to go away and don't see them. Yeah. Well, up to now, I don't see something. I feel very uncomfortable. Well, maybe I don't know. No, actually, I just no, I not this question. I just when I date with someone, because it's I just started my relationship, and I just I don't have any experience on that. So up to now, I still feel happy. So maybe after a period of time, I will get tired of him, and then I will tell you.
Oh my gosh! Wait, hey Johnny, we recorded that, right?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
we're in trouble.
Oh my gosh! So, what's that? Matthias, right? Matthias. Okay. Oh.
You record? Okay.
Oh.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble. You're in trouble, Captain.
No, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. All right, Johnny, you done?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you for the questions, Johnny. Jamie, Mr. Jamie.
Okay.
Share your knowledge with us.
Well, first off, what did Hareki say? Because I missed it. First off, I think, here we're also not pressured to marry at a certain age. We can basically marry whenever we want. I mean, some people marry when they're in their 70s, so it's not really peer pressure to get married, but it depends on when they're ready, I guess. So Hiroki, what did you say?
Me?
Yeah.
Peer pressure. I think so. In the past, peer pressure is much more intense than now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it seems here in the United States, we have a certain freedom. We have freedoms, like we can date when they're 18, 19, 30 for all if we want to. All we have to do is find the perfect person. But it's not really you have to date at a certain age. You can date whenever you want to. You could date when you're not within reason. Maybe after you become mature. After you're mature, maybe as late as 40. It's up to the person. There's no rule. Yeah, you have to marry by 35 or you're weird. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so weird then, Johnny. Jamie.
Thanks, Jola.
So Jamie, what do you think though, and more in general, what do you think about the way that our culture is towards dating here in the?
I think some people, some people get pressured, but that's because of maybe the way they were raised. But no, I don't think there's much pressure here. Rick, well, what about you? There's not really that much pressure. That's what I've seen.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have a question for
Uh-huh.
him.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I think American women, just like European women, they are so confident and they are raised in a way that they are very comfortable expressing their standards, right? Especially with the men. So you guys living in this society, do you feel comfortable with that, or do you think that this is too much? Because the reason why I asked this question, because I've noticed a lot of European men and American men, they date, for example, Asian women and women from the Middle East, North Africa, because they think that they are more submissive. So, what do you think?
I don't. Jamila, I've never. I mean, I have standards, but I don't want a woman. I don't want to be like dominating of a woman. I have 5 standards that I've set up. A woman has to be kind, able to love me for me, you know, be able to get along, be able to get along with, courteous. But I think beauty is the last part. It's not. It's there, but it's not the important part. Just being able to accept me and love me for myself, and not accept certain things from me. I want to be, I'm not looking to be like a Prince Charming. I just want to be a decent person toward her.
Well, I think my question was a little bit different. Because my question was, do you think that, I'll make it simple, do you think that American women are too independent?
I wouldn't say independent. Well, yeah, but independent. Some are strong. Yeah. So yeah, some could be. That could be either a good point or a down point. I mean, I've known you a couple years, Jamila, and I see you as very strong and independent. So if you ever get married, that guy is either gonna be lucky or he's gonna be on the couch for a long time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And I'll echo something that Jamie said, is that I think it is true that people see in our culture specifically that women tend to be much more independent. Some of that's just economic. Some of that is just the role that women have in society now. I think that's good. I think that's very good.
Yeah.
I personally think that, again, it's a well, I won't get into why I say until I say what I say. But anyway, I think definitely in our society that's true. Definitely true.
Yeah, I'm not like a woman, to accept me for the way I am, not to have a wife that berate me or nag me or beat whenever I do something.
Oh yes, that would have been nice.
The couch thing, Jamila, it's a joke. Some wives, if their husbands don't respect them or do what they want, the woman will say, "Oh, you're on the couch for tonight. You can't sleep with me because you did something wrong." That's the couch thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for sharing. Let's go, Johnny. After Johnny, I'll go. Johnny, you have something you want to say?
Actually, I have a question for Jamie.
Oh, God.
You have a question for Jamie? Go ahead.
Yeah. Because I noticed he made emphasis on women accepting him for who he is, not so much for what he has, perhaps. So I would like to ask him, how often, Jamie, do you see women trying to change men or trying to expect something else? How often do you see that happening?
Good question, Johnny. I would say not that often, but I'd say about 20% of the time I've seen it, but not really that often. It's a very low rate. It's very low rate.
So you see it happening, and what?
But I have seen it.
Okay, and how?
Yeah,
what is the
not that often,
reaction
but
of the man in those kind of situations? Do they all react in the same way?
Some men. Hold on. Let me say. let me answer. Some men are submissive and do whatever the woman says. Some men try to fight back or try to counter. That say no. I don't. I don't accept. I don't want to act like that. Or But most men try to get along with the woman.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so Johnny, your turn.
Yep.
My turn.
We're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes. Go for it.
I will not speak about how things have been in the past because I think there isn't. I think there isn't any country that would say, well, we were always free from the beginning, and things were very much liberal from the beginning. I don't think there is a country like that. So I think we all share the same kind of past in that sense. So it wouldn't make sense to me to speak about that, but I will speak about what bothers me about dating. What bothers me sometimes is when women expect too much from men and they're not willing to do their part or to give the same things. For instance, if it requires something, and if a man requires the same thing to the woman, she doesn't want to give it, or she's not willing to be open to that idea. That bothers me a lot. It's like there is a lot of inequality. There is no balance between what I ask and what I give. I mean, what they ask and what they give. It also bothers me when the relationship is sometimes in their beginnings, because it is we carry out many of the old values about dating. Like, for instance, it's the man who have to take the initiative, it's the man who have to make the first call, it's the man who have to pay for everything, it's the man who have to propose and things like that. It's the man who have to sacrifice his strength or his body, his health, and to conquer the girl, and the girl would just do a little bit or almost nothing to keep the relationship alive or to even initiate the relationship. That's something that has always bothered me. For instance, they tend not to invest their time into their relationship, and is the man who has to work hard in order to make it work. That also bothers me. For instance, they would always ask the man to plan the date. There's the man who have to make the plans. Book the reservations, perhaps in some restaurant. They would want the men to do everything, to prepare everything, and after they are on the date, they expect the men to pay for everything, and after the day, they expect the man to call them, and they will not make the call. They will not make so that kind of things are the things that bothers me, because it is like it's the men who have to make the relationship work, and if the man doesn't do it, the relationship will not progress or will not happen. And those are the kind of things that always bother me about dating, and I see it happening again and again. It's not just with me, but with every couple that I see. I don't know. That's what I really want to say about this. Open to questions.
Okay.
Okay, John. I have one. Okay, Johnny. What would you rather have as a partner? Would you rather have an equal or a servant as a partner?
A what?
Would you rather have an equal partner or a servant? An equal partner or a servant, someone who will do whatever.
Submissive to you.
Yeah.
Or subordinate to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be too technical.
Good question. And what I really want is not somebody who can submit to me or to serve me. What I really want is someone who can share my views, who can be with me, who can share the moments that I live. Not someone who can serve me or who can do everything I say, or agree with everything I decide. I want to feel that whoever is beside me will help me, will make me grow, will not just be behind me. You know, it, uh, it wouldn't help me if somebody is submissive only, or it serves me or something like that. I don't need a servant. I need a partner. That's my philosophy.
Hmm. So if someone kept saying yes, Johnny, yes so if a woman ever keeps saying yes, Johnny for everything you ask her, would you want her as a partner? If all she says to you is yes,
I think
without you having provoked her.
Right. I think that would bother me a little bit, because it would seem that she doesn't have any kind of personality. She doesn't have any kind of strong convictions or any ideas. She just go with the flow, and it's a kind of a empty existence, something like that. And I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay.
Oh, you guys. You make everything so complicated. This is why we are all single. You know what? This is exactly why.
Why would it be complicated?
Yeah, because you see, Johnny, just what you said.
It's just to ask her to be herself.
Because
It's like
it makes it complicated.
be a real person. Have your own ideas, have your own convictions.
Yeah.
Not just do everything your man says. You have a brain too, you have a heart too, you can decide for yourself, you can have your projects too, and I want you to have that. How can that be something bad?
Mm-hmm. Don't you know, Johnny, that in Arabic Jamila means a complicated one? Jamila in Arabic means complicator.
No, I meant
just kidding, just kidding, Jamila. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
We all love you. We all love you.
Okay. All right. So one more question for Johnny. If somebody has one more question. Faris, you want to say something? Okay. It looked like you were trying to ask a question.
No.
Okay.
I do have a question, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
It was a comment, but I would try to turn it into a question. Okay. So the reason why I said complicated, Johnny, don't you think that relationships were much, simpler in the past because the lines were so clear? Meaning that, don't you think that nowadays we are pushing so hard for equality between genders at different levels that we are just taking away all the beautiful things that make man and woman different? Don't you think that we just taken the lines away, and this is why people are so confused?
Well, it would be as simple as how it was, the simplicity between a master and a slave. Things were very simple in the past. That doesn't make it great. That doesn't make it good. Doesn't make it pleasant. It's the same kind of simplicity.
Is it?
Yep.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you think
what makes a relationship more complicated nowadays, because both of sides has a very high expectation to each other, not like the old times when both of sides more acceptance to each other. Nowadays, I think what makes it complicated because the expectation is too high. So when it's not match with your expectation, so it causes the disappointment. This kind of things, this kind of feeling, disappoint, sometimes make a problem, and it makes a relationship become complicated.
Okay,
Maybe
Paras.
trauma.
Okay,
maybe.
Paras. I have a question for you. Wait. What do you look for in a guy? What do you want your perfect husband to be? What do? I know I'm putting on. I'm sorry.
And one thing about submissive and dominant thing. I think it's being submissive, not always bad, but it's not always good. I think I'm a little bit like how can I say a little bit what is it? Oh my God, I
Traditional?
lost the word.
Traditional.
No,
Traditional.
it's not traditional. I mean, like I disagree with Jamila about her opinion about Asian woman. Why American and European men, some of them like
Everybody
yes.
disagrees with Jamila.
This is a wrong mindset, and it's I need to make it
Stereotype?
a little bit clear.
Yeah, but Paras, you never answered my question.
You cannot generalize.
Wait.
You cannot generalize because why you look at Asian women like submissive? It's because their culture, but they have their own way to like how can I say it will be a little bit rude because I don't know how to express this thing to control their man. They know how to treat their man, not like I can see that European women, American women, they look independent, but
Dominancy, not dominate.
Dominant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe dominancy. Look independent outside, but from the real situation that I heard, that many of American and European women married, sometimes they want kids just to have like child support. Is it? In my opinion, this is not independent. This is not something like you can say that independent woman can fight for their right. No, it's not like that. Asian women also can fight for their right, but in a different way. We are women have different way to face this situation. I think if you generalize like that, I disagree with that kind of opinion.
Well,
okay, Paras, you never answered my question. What do you yourself look for in a mate? What do you yourself as look for in a man?
Oh, what I looking for from the man?
Yeah.
Related to dominant and submissive things?
No.
Sorry. I use dominancy or dominant here in a social life, not in the bad. Let me clear it.
Yes, yes, of course. Dominant not only.
This is getting interesting. You know what?
Thing.
We should go for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think so. People
no, yeah, because like for some women, I don't know. Dominance, it's not always about sexual thing. It's about many aspects in relations. Like in the relationship.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go ahead. We're gonna. Amadeus, did you want to go ahead and say something before?
Amadeus.
I'll give.
Ada?
Anybody that hasn't spoken yet want to say something? Anybody that hasn't spoken yet want to say something? Okay, yeah, Johnny, I don't think the net is good enough there. So, okay, well, okay, I'll go ahead and give my quick takeaway, and then we'll wrap up. So, yeah, it's interesting that when we look at this from a cultural standpoint or a national versus international standpoint, that again, we all have our ideas. Some of them may be based upon our own life experiences. As we talked about earlier, I remember dating when I was in high school, okay? So, yeah, for us here, it's often that, people start dating very early. Concerning the point about stereotyping people, Asian women versus, people of other culture, I agree with what Potter said, is that there is a stereotype. That stereotype is not always true. Okay, it's like anything else. There are, different people from different cultures have different ways of looking at relationships. Okay, but there is a stereotype about Asian women specifically. Okay, or women maybe from some other cultures.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a stereotype. It's not a true stereotype, but it is a stereotype. Definitely, that's because I had many friends when I was in the military, as for an example, that would marry women in the Philippines, okay, or marry women maybe in Vietnam, okay. So we saw that, it was, or even people in Japan marry Japanese women, okay. So there was a stereotype associated with, Asian, okay, but it's not true because there are strong, independent women of all ethnic backgrounds. Okay, so what do I think? Okay, I think that, the key is I'm kind of traditional in some ways. I do believe that, a man has a certain responsibility in a relationship. I think opening doors, paying for dinners is fine. That's fine for them to do those things. I think that that's, to me, the way I was raised. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I do think that it's more of a partnership type of relationship. Both people add something to it. In couple, all couples are different, right? So, in one relationship, maybe the both people work, so they're contributing to the economic part of the relationship. In a different relationship, maybe one of them doesn't work, but she contributes in a different way, okay? People don't have to be the same, is my point, okay? It's all based upon individual and how these individuals interrelate with each other, okay? So I think that in our society, sometimes I agree with something that Jamila said, that things can go too far. They can swing too far to an extreme where we lose that definition, okay? Or what a man or woman is. And in our society today, we have, especially in our country, we have a lot of debates going on right now, right? And it creates a lot of problems in society because people. Okay. So to me again, because I've traveled to a lot of countries, I've met a lot of people. I have a pretty good understanding about different cultures. To me, I don't judge that any one type of relationship is more or better than a different type. They're different. Okay. Yeah. You heard from Imad earlier. He has his views. I disagree with his views, but he has his views. Okay. And that's fine. So the thing I don't, the marrying the cousin thing is kind of strange to me. Okay. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I think that's a little bit, that part I don't feel comfortable with. Okay. But everything else, I thought, it's a good discussion, a lot of good feedback, a lot of good input.
Yeah, I have a couple closing statements, Rick. First off, I think there should be like more communication between the man and the woman, or the man. And I think if the couple agree to can agree to live together, they should, and get married if they want to. they should get married. And also, I think once the man gives the woman the ring, he's off the market. No matter how attractive a woman he sees, he should remember that he has a life partner and he shouldn't stray. So yeah, I don't think cheating. I think is wrong. So anybody who cheats should be castrated. Anyway, cheating is wrong, and I think you should be faithful up to the woman until, as they say, till death do you part. That's what I think. Communication and fidelity are important.
Yeah, well, again, we all have different perspectives about things, right? Doesn't mean that anyone's perspective is right and anyone's perspective is wrong. We have our own ideas about these things.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there will be people that will not marry, for example, somebody that's outside their culture. Okay, we know there are people that will not marry people outside their religion. Okay, or even, I shouldn't even say marry, become involved. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have people that. Well, let me finish, Jamie, let me finish, please.
Sorry.
So then you have, other people that are, of course, much more open about who and what and where and when. So, each individual has to make the decision for themselves, whatever they feel comfortable with, right?
I think the whoever the partner is, if the relationship works, I think it's that Mr. or Mrs. Right. Mrs. Right was you.
Yeah.
Because my aunt and uncle were cousins, but they are my idealistic couple actually. Because my aunt took care of my uncle. Uncle used to be an English teacher. That's the reason why so he is very intelligent, but he suffered from the dementia. And my aunt was over 70, maybe almost 80, but she took care of my uncle for 5 years by herself. So without without helper, but it's not easy.
Right.
So I think, wow, they are a good couple. I really, proud of them.
Yeah. Well, that's Japanese culture, Hideki.
It's not a culture thing. I mean, if the love works, it's the best.
Yeah, I agree.
They work.
And I don't believe in love at first sight either. I don't believe in love at first sight. But if a couple does meet for the first time and they fall in love, then more power to them. I just personally don't believe in it.
Okay. Alrighty. So listen, we've been here for a long time, and we're gonna wrap up. And I would like to thank everybody so much. I know Pada stayed up very, very late.
Love you, Pada.
2:30 in the morning. Okay, for you. For Hiroki,
I just woke
very
up.
late.
I just woke up. Yeah.
Oh wow.
At once, enjoying.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Jamila and Hiroki and Zar, and
thank you, Rick.
Everybody very much. Okay, thank you so much. Okay?
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, you too.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.